are the pieces we're going to need for the first rope puzzle. You can see I've got about 60 inches of nylon rope. I've taken a little torch, or you can just use a match or a lighter or whatever, and I've sealed each end of the rope to make it easier to get through the holes. This is the body of the puzzle. Got a 1/4 inch hole here, 3/4 inch hole here, and 2 1-inch holes. And I cut this on the scroll saw, except for these 1/4 inch holes. I did actually drill those. So we have that, and then we have these 2 circles that we cut out on the scroll saw that we're going to use as the terminators, or the puzzle pieces that can't make it through any of these holes. So you can see they have to, whatever they are, whatever you use, they have to be big enough they can't go through the hole. So you could substitute these for metal washers or whatever you had handy, but I did include these in the pattern just so you would have something. So what we're going to do to start out is we're going to take our rope, we're going to take one end of the rope, and we're going to feed it through the left hand hole through to the back. We're going to pull it through. We're going to tie a knot in that end so it cannot go back through the hole. So like that right there. Once we get the rope through that hole and tied off, we can take one of our rings, put it on the rope, and pull that ring up close to the board. Now we're going to take the rope, we're going to put it through the center hole from the front. Now let me point out at this point that these 2 holes are actually not part of the puzzle. They're just there to add a little something extra for the puzzle solver to think about. Hopefully they'll try to interpret these as part of the puzzle and try to get through there, but they really won't need those. So take our rope, push it through the center, pull it around, and you're going to pull it around until we get a loop over here on the left hand side that is about, we'll say, whatever that is, 7-8 inches maybe, something like that. So we've created a loop from here through the front with our ring on that loop. Now we're going to take our rope and we're going to pull it through, and we're pulling it through this loop all the way through. So now we've got the rope through that loop. We're going to cross the rope over right here from this piece that's going back through, and we're going to hold it there with our thumb. We're going to take the other end of the rope and we're going to feed it back through the center hole again from the back side, pull it through, and we want it to go behind this rope that we're holding down with our thumb. So it's going to go behind it like that. So now as we pull this tight, you'll see that we get a slip knot right here in the middle of the board. Just like that. So now we've got our loop with the ring on the left, and we've got our slip knot in the center. We're going to take our second ring, put it on the rope, slide it up, take the end of the rope, we're going to put it through the right hand hole that we drilled. And I've intentionally kept these holes pretty small so it's harder for the rope to come back through once we tie the knot in it. So now we're going to put the rope through the right hand hole, just like we did on the left hand side. We're going to tie a knot. Well, first of all, before we tie that knot, let's pull it back until this loop on the right is equal to the loop on the left. So about like that right there. So then once we get them equal on each side, then we can turn it over, tie our knot in the back, and then we can cut each end of the rope off to make it fit the puzzle. So we're going to pull that real tight, just like that. So we've got both knots tied off in the back. We've got a ring around the left-hand loop and a ring around the right-hand loop. And that's all there is to the assembly. And I'll come back here in just a second and show you the goal and the solution to the puzzle. Before we move on, I just want to point out that I trimmed the rope in the back of the puzzle. I did seal the ends again with my little torch. I put just a dab of super glue on each of the knots so the knots would not come undone, and then I sprayed them with a little activator. That makes the back of it solid and permanent. We've got our puzzle all completed now. Let me tell you what the goal is. The goal is to take either one of these rings that are trapped in the loop that can't go through any of these holes and get either one of the rings onto the other side to where both rings are in the same loop. Okay, here's the solution. It's a little bit creative, but you take one of your rings. In this case, we'll take the one on the left. You take the ring, you pull open the slip knot just a little bit to where you can get the ring through that part of the slip knot and up there. Then you take the slip knot right here, and we're going to move it towards the back, and we're going to pull it through the board. We're going to take our ring, bring it up through the slip knot that we just pulled through the board, and do that. You're going to take it through the slip knot, then you'll push the slip knot back through the board, back down through the loop. We now have the ring on both sides, and we can pull our slip knot back through. Both rings on the same side. Here's the second little wooden rope puzzle. It's quite a bit easier than the first one there. This one it has 3 holes in it, 2 larger holes on each end, a smaller one in the middle. The smaller hole is just there to add a little confusion to the puzzle. It's not used, but hopefully they'll spend a few minutes trying to figure out why that hole's there. This puzzle is quite a bit easier than the first one. The solution is pretty simple. With them linked together, you take one of the ropes, push it together, slide the loop through the hole, take the block, push it through the loop, pull the loop back through the hole, and they are separated. Simple, but most people will spend at least a few minutes trying to figure it out.